I think that most people, the reason that they lack success in their life, especially from a financial aspect, is that they lack the courage to make the decisions that need to be made to put them in the position that they want to be in. And I never really thought about it until I watched everybody DM me and email me and text me and say, I'm so proud of you for speaking up, and then watch them not do shit. And then when I took inventory of who those people are, all of them are struggling. So I started correlating it together. Whoa, they don't have courage and they suffer in life. And so I think the courage to make the decisions that you already know need to be made, that your anxiety is telling you need to be made, is one of the biggest things that has to happen for you to be successful. And most people are just not courageous enough to make the decisions that they know that need to be made. And because of that, they fucking don't get anything. They don't get any money. They don't get in shape. They don't get a good partner. They're pissed off at the world. They think the world's screwing them over, when in reality, it's their inaction and their lack of courage that's screwing them over. What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to motherfucking reality. Guys, today, as always, we have Q&AF. That's where you submit the questions, and we give you the answers. Now, you can submit your questions a few different ways. The first way is,
guys, email these questions into askandy@andyfrisella.com.
or you go on YouTube and the Q&AF episodes, drop your question in the comments, and we'll choose some from there as well. Now, if you're new, we have shows within the show. It's not Q&AF every single day. Throughout the week, we're going to have different formats. Tomorrow, we're going to have what's called CTI. That stands for Cruise the Internet. That's where we put topics of the day up on the screen. We speculate on what's true and what's not true. And then we talk about how we, the people, have to solve these problems going on in the world. It's a current events show with a little bit of comedy. Then we have Real Talk. Real Talk is just 5 to 20 minutes of me giving you some real talk. And then we have 75 Hard Verses. That's where someone who has completed the 75 Hard program comes on the show, talks about how their life was before, how their life is now, and how they use 75 Hard to recalibrate their mental state and become the people that you see here on the show, okay? If you're unfamiliar with 75 Hard, it is the initial phase of the Live Hard program, which is the world's most popular mental transformation program. You can get it for free at episode 208 on the audio feed only. Again, that's 208 on the audio feed only, and it is free. There's also a book available for purchase. That is not free. You can get that at andyfrisella.com. It's called The Book on Mental Toughness. It includes the entire Live Hard program, the ins and outs, the nuts and bolts, and then plus a whole bunch of chapters on mental toughness, why it's important, why you need to incorporate it, and how you can use it to become the best version of yourself. Also has a number of case studies as well. Again, that's andyfrisella.com. Now, something that we do different than any other show of this size in the world is we don't run ads. The reason we don't run ads is because I like to keep it real with you guys. And because of that, we're constantly dealing with censorship, shadow bans, traffic throttling. And, you know, if we ran ads, we'd be listening to people cry about what I say on the show. And I'm not doing that. So I make a little deal with you. You help us get the word out, and we're not going to fill your ears with 30 minutes of bullshit. I think that's a pretty good deal. All right. So if the show makes you think, if it makes you laugh, it's good information. If it changes your perspective, if you think it needs to be heard, do us a favor and share the show. Okay, we got this little thing that we like to say here. It's don't be a hoe.
Share the show.
All right. What's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Oh, not much.
On Monday morning.
Yeah.
Got some battle scores there on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I do, man. I got the...
What happened?
Well, I rode a four-wheeler through a thorn bush. A couple of them. You did as well. I don't think you got as bad as me.
I wasn't as depressed, no.
Yeah.
I made it out okay.
Yeah. You're welcome, because I ran them over for you.
You took all the...
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, right.
But yeah, we went, DJ and I went riding four-wheelers on Saturday, and yeah.
It was a good time.
It was awesome.
It was a good time.
Yeah, I was surprised, dude. You did well.
I mean, how'd you think I was going to do?
Shitty. Yeah.
It's an engine, man. It's wheels. I can drive it.
You did good.
Yeah.
I mean, that one vertical ledge we went up, I was wondering how you were going to do. You did all right.
Yeah, no pointers or anything.
No.
I followed you. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
one man
good.
can do, you know?
That's right.
And we made it work.
Yeah, we did.
It was a good time, though, man.
Yeah.
Well,
fucking thorns did get me, though,
they got you pretty bad.
Yeah.
I did feel bad.
Shit.
I'm like, look at this man taking all the
Bro, it ripped my fucking arm off the handlebars when we were coming up out of the creek.
Yeah,
Dude, those ones got me so bad it ripped my arm off.
I'm used to like rosebush thorns. I don't know.
I don't know what those were either, bro.
They're like vines.
I never seen those before.
They're like 2-inch daggers.
Yeah, and then when we pulled out, they were all stuck in me.
Yeah,
it wasn't any fun.
Oh, cool, man. Well, little weekend mental break. That was cool.
Yeah, we need to do some more 4-wheels.
I'm down
soon.
I am down.
Yeah, that was fun.
I'm down. Well, guys, it's Monday. It is Q&A. So let's get better today.
Yeah,
and let's do that because I got 3 good ones for you.
All right, cool.
Knock these out, guys. Andy, question number 1. Hey, Andy and DJ. 6 years ago, I helped build something incredible at my old company, which has since become a massive success. After laying the groundwork, I left to be a stay-at-home mom. Now that my child is in school, I reached out to my former boss about returning to the work field, but he straight up ignored me. How do I overcome the feeling of rejection and jealousy from being part of something so successful?
I think you got to be a realist. Okay. You chose to leave something that you put immense work into, and now it has moved on, and that's what happens. So you guys have to realize this is the real world, and it's very unforgiving. It's not very loyal, even if you're loyal. And this is a problem for a lot of people because a lot of people have good hearts and they're loyal type people, but they're loyal when they want loyalty, right? Like when you left, how do you think they felt? They probably felt like you weren't being very loyal. All right. And now you're getting a taste of what that felt like and you don't like it. So my advice to anybody out here who's in this position is that you got to understand, man, there's 2 sides to every coin. And just because you put some work in 6 years ago and it became a success doesn't mean shit. It just doesn't. Okay. And the fact that you went to raise a family, that's admirable. But that was your decision and that was your choice. And the company that you worked for continued to move. And I'm sure you do wish that you could get back in once it's somewhere that it wasn't 6 years ago. I mean, who doesn't want to do that, right? Like, I'm part of University of Alabama, and, you know, I helped them start to win, and 6 years later, they're winning national. I want to be on the team again.
Right.
How's that sound?
Right.
Sounds pretty stupid, doesn't it? Okay, well, that's what you sound like. All right, so we got to be realist about decisions that we make in real life. And when you are a part of something special, I think it's important for you to recognize that you are a part of something special. And instead of thinking that everything out there is something special, you should come to the realization that there's very few special things out there where we get to invest our time, our energy, our skill set into a meaningful project. And that matters, and matters a hell of a lot more than just the paycheck you take home. All right. So if you guys are out there, and I'm talking to everybody, if you're out there and you're a part of something that's growing, that's, you know, part of a good mission, it's something that you enjoy, it's something that you feel like, you know, you should be a part of, and it starts to get monotonous and it starts to get tiring and it starts to get bored, you should do some real slow and clear reflection on, are you just a little bit worn out, or do you really need to make a change? Because I'm going to tell you, dude, there's not that many places that give a fuck about their people. And there's not that many places that are actively trying to grow people's careers. They say they do, but they don't. And if you're in one of these places where you get to have input and you get to create and you get to build, it's very important that you need to back up and say, hey, it's not like that everywhere. And you know, that's an unfortunate reality. You know, a lot of times when people fall into something, especially in the younger years of their life, that's really good, they don't have the perspective of what it's like everywhere else. So when they do get tired, they say, oh, I don't like this. This isn't for me. But then they go out and they experience all these other things that are like the real world, so to speak, where, you know, they don't give a shit about you at all. They don't care if you build a career. They don't care if you want a family. All they care about is that you show up and you do your job and you take your money home and you don't cause any fucking problems. And that's not a fulfilling, rewarding career for most people. Most people want to create. Most people, whether they believe that they are or not, are team players. They are creators. They are builders, and they want to contribute to something that matters. And if you're part of that, you should think very hard and long before you make a decision that's going to abandon that, because the reality is it's just very rare. So how do I not feel jealous, or how do I not feel bitter? Or, I mean, you got to be realist, you know, like you don't have the standing to be jealous or bitter because you left. All right. So
it's an interesting question about just even with value alone, right? Like, does value have an expiration date? Like, how long can somebody hold on to the value input that they put in? Like, how long does that actually
One day
last?
One day.
Hmm.
One day. When you play baseball and you hit 4 for 4 on Monday and you go 0 for 4 on Tuesday, how good are you? You're as good as your last game. That's the reality, dude. And that might be, that's a harsh example, but that's also a real example. The minute you stop contributing, the things you've done in the past don't necessarily matter. And I know people are going to get upset about that and they don't like to hear that, but that's reality, dude. And that's even more so, like, if you're in a place where they give you credit for the things you've contributed and they value that, and they're willing to work with you in your low times and then, you know, help you get back to the high times, that's someplace you don't want to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just rare. But the reality is, you know, I think that people have, like, to me, but how I feel is not the same as everybody else.
For sure.
Okay.
Like, I mean,
when people make investments with me,
it's a unique thing.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they go through a downtime. I could say, okay, they're going through a downtime, but they've invested this much of their life. They've done all these things. Let's work through it. Right. You know, now if it's a unethical something, that's a different story.
Sure.
But when people have invested, that matters to me, but it doesn't matter to everybody.
Right.
And because it matters to you, you think that it should matter to everybody. And the reality is most places are not people friendly. They say they are, but they're not. The minute your production goes down, the minute you start coasting, the minute you start fall off, your value expires, and they don't care to bring it back. You know what I mean? They don't care about
most places.
That's right. They don't care about sitting you down and saying, hey, what's wrong? How do we fix this? How do we develop this skill set? How do we pull you out of this little mental funk you got going on in your life? But the fact that when you do that the right way, you develop an amazing culture. Like, a lot of people come into our companies and they're like, how do you do this? Well, I don't know. We don't tell people to fuck off the minute they make a mistake.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the reality is, and most people do that. So we have to be honest about it. And, you know, I think people in general put the way that they feel onto other people, not realizing that other people don't feel that way. You know, like in this example, this person saying, man, I built this, I helped build this, look how good it's doing, and they feel like they still have a part of it.
It's an entitlement almost.
Well, I mean, I think if that person was running a company, they would probably say, yeah, Stacy had a big part of building this, let's talk to her. But that's not how everybody is, and you can't expect everybody to be like you. And in business, it is very cutthroat and it's very harsh, and it's not always, quote unquote, what you want to think is fair. But if you flip the coin over and you look at how they felt when you left, hey, Stacy left in the middle of this project when it was going, you know, and we made it work. The reason they're ignoring you is probably because they think that you quit on them. You know, like, yeah, Stacy had a couple hands in the beginning, but when she quit, she fucked us and we made it work anyway. And so they might be thinking, hey, fuck Stacy. She quit on us.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we gotta be real about the decisions that we make. And that's why, you know, we don't want to burn bridges. We don't want, because you don't want to burn bridges you might have to cross again, right? So maybe had you known that you were going to come back, you would have handled that situation a little bit differently. Maybe you would have said, hey, I'll do what I can from home. Hey, let me do this, or let me do that, or hey, let me take a step back and do this just to stay involved in what's going on. But it doesn't sound like that's what you did. It sounds like you left and you came back 6 years later. 6 years in a company is a fucking lifetime, dude. You know what I mean? Most companies don't make it 6 years. So, you know, you got to be a realist. You don't have a standing to be upset.
I think that's an important piece too, man, because you've had plenty of employees who have left and come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like in those situations, there's still an honest conversation
Yeah.
about the bridge that's still remaining.
For sure.
It has to be.
Well, that's because those people that leave, they were always contributing. They were always doing good. They got in a situation where, they felt like they needed to go down a different path. And my hope is always that if they decide to go down a different path, they look back here and they say, fuck, I learned everything I needed to know there. I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at, right? But there are people that go down that path and they realize that it's not what they actually wanted. And they call back and they say, hey, man, I really miss it. I want to be a part of it. And usually when those people come back, they're fucking amazing because they don't take it for granted anymore. But that comes with no bridge burning. That comes with no shit talking. That comes with no issues. That's a conditional fucking agreement. Right? Like, and I'm just a big believer, dude. Life is long. You don't know when you're going to need someone or when you're going to want to fix a bridge or when you're going to run into someone in a restaurant and it's going to be real awkward because you were a fuck.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, the world's small and life is long, and it's a good idea to maintain relationships. And had this person maintained a relationship that whole time, I bet you wouldn't be getting ignored.
Right. So do you have any recommendations on how she should move forward with this?
I mean, if you're dead set on trying to get back in with that company, I would force yourself in front of the decision maker's face, whether that be waiting outside, whether that be writing a letter, whether that be sending 50 emails. And if you want to move on, you move on with, you might have to move on. You move on with the attitude of, okay, I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm going to get into something I care about. I'm going to try to build it. And I'm not going to, just abandon whatever it is because I want to go do this. And dude, a lot of people do feel entitled to that. They feel like, yeah, but I was going to start a family. Okay. Lots of people start families, bro. You ain't the first motherfucker in the history of Earth to have kids, right? That doesn't mean you get all these special treatments and you get to come and go as you please. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, we got to be real, dude. And a lot of times people think that, the companies have to do all these things because they have to. And the reality is they don't have to do shit. That manager or that owner that worked for you, they don't have to do anything with you. They don't have to call you back. They don't owe you shit. You quit on them. When I quit to start a family, it doesn't matter. Okay. Maybe you should have handled it differently. But like the truth of the matter is, I just don't think you have a position to be pissed. And a lot of times when people get in this position, they start talking shit on the company. Mm-hmm. You did that. They didn't do that. You did that. And I think it's for you in this situation, you have to own the responsibility. And maybe you get in front of the decision maker, say, hey, look, dude, I know I handled that poorly, but here's the thing. I love this place. I want to be a part of it. I want to contribute to it. I know I can. Here's how I can. And let's fucking do this. And if they say no, you don't have a choice. You got to go do it somewhere else.
Yeah. I love it, man.
Listen, don't burn bridges that you might have to cross, bro. Like, life is long. Okay? And you never know when you're going to need someone.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Guys, Andy, question number 2. Andy, 1P Instagram, they posted a reel a couple of days ago that said the heaviest things in life aren't iron and gold, but unmade decisions. The reason you are stressed is that you have decisions to make, but you're not making them. This really hit home for me as a logical, critical thinker who overanalyzes way too many decisions. I end up pushing things off to some future date or just not doing anything productive and falling into negative habits, assuming at some future point I will just fall into place, which I know is false thinking. I also know Andy talks a lot about doing the things you know you need to do but aren't doing, but focusing more on the decision side of things versus action. I actually completed 75 hard, phase 1 and 2, because of all the actions are laid out. But for other items in my life where it's 100% up to me to make the decision, I just struggle to have that same drive to make or do things. And I feel like life is passing me by. How does someone end up in a decision paralysis mode more times than not, get out of that train of thought and become more decisive in a positive manner?
You are wasting your life. You are letting your life pass by because you lack the courage to make the decisions that you know you need to make. You got to be real about that. If you don't make the decisions that you know you need to make, time is continuing to go, which means everybody else is getting better and you're staying the same, which by default means you're getting worse. And in terms of these unmade decisions being heavy, there's a podcast I did a long time ago. I can't remember what number it was, but where I talk about slaying the monster. Okay. The monster is all your unmade decisions. It's all the things you know you need to do, the work you need to do that you're letting pass by. You got it?
119.
119 on Real AF?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's 119 on Real AF. Go listen to it. I answer this entire question. But the point is that when we don't make decisions that we know we need to make, it causes anxiety, it causes depression, and in reality, it causes us not to progress. So that's extremely stressful and extremely anxiety inducing. And this is why I tell you, most of the anxiety that you feel isn't because you just are anxious. It's because you're not taking the action that you know needs to be taken to get where you're wanting to go. And it's making you feel that anxious feeling. It's actually a very strong indicator that you need to go. And then once you go, you will be unburdened by these unmade decisions and it won't feel as heavy. It won't feel as anxious. And you'll be proud of yourself because you're moving and you know you're moving. You can see it. So make a list of the decisions that you know you need to make, the ones you are afraid to make. A lot of times this is about money. A lot of times this is about relationships. A lot of times this is about your physical health. But the fact of the matter is, make a list of these decisions and start executing on the decisions. Make them part of your power list. If you don't know what the power list is, go listen to episode 16 on Real AF. It gives you the entire plan for literally never losing in life, okay? So plug them into your power list. Make sure the decisions get made. You're going to feel lighter. You're going to move faster, and everything in your life is going to start to materialize. But if you don't make those decisions, nothing's going to change except everybody else is going to progress, and you're going to stay the same, which, like I said, by default means you're moving backwards. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
This almost sounds like when I was reading through this again, it almost sounds like an awareness issue too, right? Because I think for most people, it's easy to say, "Oh, well, I don't really know, what to do or what." Sure, you do. It's an awareness thing. You're choosing not to see it, right? And you've said before.
I think also people pretend to be ignorant to the awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know what I need to do.
Okay, open your bank account.
That's right. Yeah.
You don't know what you need to do? Go step on a scale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's an easy thing. It's easier. I think it is easier to do than just to say it, but it's just a click of the awareness part. How do you build that?
I mean, look, man, this person, if they've already completed 75 hard the right way, you have the skills to make the decisions. Dude, you know what I figured out, man? A lot of people's lack of success comes from a lack of courage. When we look at what happened over the last 4 years and how many people were pissed off and how many people were frustrated with what was going on in the world and didn't say shit, okay? And those same people are always complaining about their income. They're complaining about their business. They're complaining about their job. They're complaining about their significant other. You know why your life sucks, bro? Because you're a pussy. That's it, okay? Being successful in real life takes courage. And part of the courage, the biggest part of the courage, is to make decisions, stand on those decisions when really nobody else is in your corner. You've got to make those decisions for you. And that takes courage. And when you don't have courage and you don't make the decisions, you become one of these NPC people in the world who just kind of floats through life and ends up being bitter and pissed and frustrated because they're not able to create anything. All right. And I think that most people, the reason that they lack success in their life, especially from a financial aspect, is that they lack the courage to make the decisions that need to be made to put them in the position that they want to be in. And I really think that's a big part of it. And I never really thought about it until I watched everybody DM me and email me and text me and say, I'm so proud of you for speaking up, and then watch them not do shit. And then when I took inventory of who those people are, all of them are struggling. So I started correlating it together. Whoa. These people they don't have courage and they suffer in life. And so I think the courage to make the decisions that you already know need to be made, that your anxiety's telling you need to be made, is one of the biggest things that has to happen for you to be successful. And most people are just not courageous enough to make the decisions that they know they need to be made. And because of that, they fucking don't get anything. They don't get any money. They don't get in shape. They don't get a good partner. They're pissed off at the world. They think the world's screwing them over, when in reality, it's their inaction and their lack of courage that's screwing them over. If we would have had 50 million people speak up the way that you and I have spoke up the last 4 years, we wouldn't even be here. We didn't be in this situation. But so many people were afraid. They were afraid because their aunt, who's a crazy person, is going to blast them on Facebook, or they're going to get yelled at by their person at work or whoever, right?
They won't get invited to Thanksgiving
dinners.
Yeah. You don't want to go to those anyway.
Yeah. Like, dude, when was the last time you truly stood on your own fucking business? When was the last time? When was the last time you didn't just go along to go along? When was the last time you made a hard decision that you knew was going to push you forward? If you can't name that, then your lack of courage is the problem. That's the problem. And that's why you're suffering. So pull out your fucking balls, make the decisions that you know you need to be made, and start moving down the path. You're going to feel good. And if you don't, you're going to feel bad. And it's that simple.
Love it, man. And guys, Andy, let's get to our third and final question here. Guys, Andy, question number 3. Andy, so I'm 23. I work at a small company doing paintless dent repair, just starting to finally get good to where I'm about to start seeing major results. My question to you is, how do you balance putting in the work of hours, trying to get better, and sacrifice going out drinking with the boys and doing things like vacations? Because sometimes I feel like social media makes a person feel like they're missing out on just living life to the fullest. But I know if I make these sacrifices now, the future, I'm setting myself up for what will be incredible. But I do find it hard at times seeing people travel and doing things while I'm working on trying to better myself in career. How do you keep yourself happy and motivated during that period?
First of all, the internet's full of a bunch of liars, okay? All these people that go out there and they take all these dramatic photos, in front of the sunset or the sunrise or this or that. I'm so at peace, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they're at peace until they got to go fucking eat, or they got to buy a new car, or they got a problem at their house, or their family gets sick, right? Like, it's real easy to go out and take some sunset photos and pretend like you're motherfucking Buddha, all right, in the internet. Right. And that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a whole bunch of people that pretend to be happy, pretend to be enlightened, pretend to, appreciate life experiences, which you should, by the way, because they don't have anything else going for them. They're not making any money. They're not making any career moves. They're not doing well in any other area. And those photos are fucking free, bro. You could go out tonight and take a photo of the sunset and write some fucking bullshit. And there's going to be people who are out here building their life who are going to be like, God, I wish I could do that. But see, here's the thing that you don't see. You don't see them 10 years down the road. You don't see them 15 years down the road. You don't see them when they're 45 years old and they got to work at fucking Wendy's. You don't see that shit. How's that sunrise look now, motherfucker? It looks pretty shitty, doesn't it? Because you fucked off on your whole 20s and your whole 30s, and the reality of life is setting in, which the reality is this: nobody's coming to take care of you. Nobody's here to save you. And if you don't invest the time up front to build a real skill set, you're going to have problems in life. Real shit. Okay. And then on top of it, what kind of vacations do you want? Do you want to take a road trip to, the lake an hour away, or do you want to go to fucking Greece? Okay. Do you want to, fly Southwest to Disneyland on the discount fucking ticket? Or do you want to fucking fly first class and take the Disney VIP experience? What the fuck do you want? What do you want for you and your family? Do you want to drive that rusted out piece of shit Ford Focus, or do you want to drive a new Mercedes or a fucking brand new truck? What do you want? Okay, because what you're investing now is going to determine what you get later. And that's reality. I'm going to tell you this. All those dudes that you drink beer with when you're, what do you say, he's 23?
23.
All them dudes that you drink beer with at 23 are going to lose in life, period. They're going to grow up. Very few of them will ever snap out of alcohol culture. And by the time they're 40, they're going to look like they're 60. They're going to be broke, and you're going to be somewhere else. And they're going to be looking at you being like, oh man, I'm so proud of you. Except, when you were staying at home working on your dent removal. By the way, there's a ton of money in that, by the way, a ton of money in paintless dent removal. But they're going to be looking at you thinking like, oh, he changed, or, oh, no, it's called being a grown-up. It's called investing your time and your energy knowing that there's going to be a payoff. It doesn't mean you can't have a good time. It doesn't mean you can't go to a barbecue once in a while. It doesn't mean you can't day drink on Sunday once in a while with your boys watching football. But what it does mean is you can't do that every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for 15 years and think that you're going to fucking win. It's not going to happen. All right? So, at the end of the day, bro, you got to choose what you want. Do you want to win or do you want to lose? Do you want to be comfortable? Do you want to be uncomfortable? Do you want to be fun now or do you want to be fun later? All right. And that doesn't always pay off. Look at Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant worked his ass off, built a fucking amazing career. Hall of Fame, one of the best players in any sport ever. He retires. Going to spend time with his family. What happens to him? He dies in a helicopter crash. So there's no guarantee either way. So just so you know, and soft people who want to have fun now, they will justify their life. YOLO, right. I'm only just now. Look, dude, it's not this or that. It's deciding what you want, doing what's required to get where you want, and where you want to go is going to be different than where I want to go or anybody else wants to go. So it's an individual decision. But you can't be fooled by all these knuckleheads on the internet who don't have shit going on for them, pretending like they're fucking Buddha and Yoda mixed together, and living this carefree life. We see all these people, dude. And if you really think about what they show you, what else could they show you? What else could they show you? They don't have anything else to show you, or they'd show it. You see what I'm saying? Right. So they live in they have a shitty life, they have a shitty fucking bank account, and they take the free shit. And by the way, some of the free shit is the best shit. I'm not here to say that, but what I am here to say is that you shouldn't feel bad or be made to feel bad by internet Yodas who tell you, peace, harmony, and fucking rubbing the finger, whatever, dude. Mm-hmm.
Crystal enemas.
Yeah, all this weird ass shit. These people, that's all they got, dude. Yeah. That's all they got. And so you can't let them make you feel bad. And if they continue down that path until they're 40, 45 years old, they're going to have less than they have now because they don't understand that when you're youthful, that's your opportunity to set the foundation for the rest of your life. You are likely to be alive if you are 20 years old, to be over 100 years old based on the technology that's happening. How the fuck are you going to pay for that? What kind of life are you going to live past 40 or 50? You going to be in poverty? What are you going to do? Like, people don't even think about this. No. I don't even see people thinking about this like they used to. When I grew up, dude, it was very much understood. Like, if you didn't handle your shit, life was going to be very difficult later. In this generation of kids, 20 to 35 years old, in my opinion, bro, they're in for a rude awakening because they've been indoctrinated by this cultural philosophy that you don't have to really be effective. You don't have to win. In fact, having too much money is bad and it's a morally bad thing. Why do you think they tell you that? Why do you think they tell you having too much money is greedy and materialistic? And I'll tell you why they tell you that. They tell you that because they want you to struggle and they want you to be dependent on their systems. All right. And by sitting there, thinking that you're the internet Buddha, you're deferring your ability to build something that matters, that you're proud of, that provides for you and your family, probably forever. You're probably never going to get it. So I wouldn't let these people fuck with your mind. I wouldn't let these people make you feel like you're missing out. You're not missing out. If you've been out 3 or 4 times and you drank beer, it's the same thing every time. Is it not?
It's the same conversation.
It's the same shit, bro. You drink some beers, you look at some girls, you fucking go home, you feel like shit. That's what the fuck it's about. It doesn't ever change. You got to realize it's not a sacrifice, dude. It's an investment, all right? And delayed gratification is the number one understanding of successful people. They understand that if I invest now, my time, my energy, my effort into building a skill set, that skill set will produce income. When I have that income, that opens up other opportunities for me to develop new skills or scale out my life in a bigger way. So you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere where you can bring some money in, and then once you get some money coming in, you have more decisions. And then you can make another decision that is, you can continue to level up as long as you want to go. All right. So it just depends on where you want to go, dude. I'm not here to tell you what level you want to play at. I know what level I want to play at, and it takes a lot more than what most people want to put in. But I'm okay with that because I know what I'm trying to do here. And most people don't. Most people put more time and energy and plans into what they're going to do on Friday night or Saturday night or Sunday than they do planning their whole life and career. And your friends who are making you feel guilty for not hanging with them when you're working on your skill set and you're trying to become the best paintless dent removal person in your area so that you could make good money and pay for a life, those people are going to be coming to you saying, hey man, can I get $500? Can I get $1,000, bro? I'm a little short this week. And that's what's going to be, and you're going to, that's a whole nother conversation because you're going to have to learn to say no. But yeah, man, it's hard to see when you're young. When you're my age, it's very easy to see because a lot of the people who live that life that you call your friends are suffering now. They're in hard times now. They're not kicking ass. They're not building their dreams. And honestly, they're very regretful they didn't put the time in earlier. So don't be one of them. And you have to trust me because you can't have the perspective when you're 23 that someone would have in their 40s. In the 40s, it's very easy to look back and be like, oh yeah, that guy did this. Oh yeah, that guy did that. Oh yeah, that guy did this. And then you could see them where they are now. Now they look 60. Now they don't have any money. Now they're living a shitty life. You see what I'm saying?
Going to the same bars.
Yeah. And you could go find them at the same places, dude. So that's it, man. You have to be willing to know where you want to go, and you have to be willing to make the investment, and you have to be willing to trust people like me when they tell you that those people who are trying to dog you out and make you feel stupid and drag you along their path, they end up becoming nothing. And I'm going to tell you, dude, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be one of those people because when they're in their 40s, now they have way less options. How are they going to, outside of creating their own business and spending 20 years, 10 years that puts them in their 50s or 60s, how are they going to get an opportunity? Nobody's hiring 45-year-old people to come in and fucking, be a key part of an organization when that person drank for the last 25 years. Right. It doesn't happen, dude. So we got to be real about the way things work. And here's the way things work. If you put in time when you're young and you put in hard work when you're young, life gets easier later. If you fuck off when you're young, life gets harder later. It's one or the other. So you get to choose which hard you want. Do you want it hard now or do you want it hard later? Do you want to fucking have fun now or do you want to have fun later? And you can have a little bit of fun now, but you just can't let it affect what you're trying to build. And yeah, that's it, dude. It's a very simple choice from the perspective of where I sit. But I can understand why, someone who's 23 can't see that.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love it, guys. Andy, that was 3.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow with CTI. Don't be a hoe.
Share the show.